Hi and welcome to this Kitsat technical guide. My name is Samuli and today we will be taking a look at the Kitsat flight script. The Kitsat flight script is a feature in Kitsat that can be used to automate several features like taking measurements or pictures. It was originally designed for stratospheric flights where it would be used to take pictures and measurements automatically so that the user wouldn't need to send a command every time. The flight script can of course be used for many other things and not only stratospheric flights. For example, you could use it to take pictures automatically for long periods of time, or perhaps perform rapid measurements while you're doing some kind of experiment like shaking the satellite or exposing it to different environments. The flight script itself is essentially a list of commands the satellite performs periodically. So it is saved on the SD card and it can be modified through the command interface, or if you remove the SD card from the satellite and plug it into your computer, you can use any text editor to modify it. So let's take a look at the default flight script. So this is what the flight script looks like by default. So this is what it returns to every time. If you don't have a flight script in your satellite, this is what it will be reverting back to. So here we have several commands, and then we have the periods by which they are performed. So for example, the CAM command is performed every 30,000 milliseconds or 30 seconds. And these ones are performed every once a second and once every 10 seconds and once every 5 seconds. The camera command is used for taking pictures. The N command means that the temperature and pressure are saved on the SD card. The IMU command saves the accelerometer, gyroscope and magnetometer data on the SD card. The EPS saves the battery voltage and the solar panel voltages. The GPS is used to store the GPS location. And finally, the beacon is very useful for stratospheric flights, which is a command where the Kitsat sends a radio message which contains the telemetry needed for tracking the satellite. So that is the GPS location and the altitude and the battery voltage. So that is received on the ground station and it can be used to very easily track the satellite. So the other commands are used for saving data on the SD card, and the beacon is a little bit special in that way that it is used for solely for the tracking of the satellite. All the different commands are documented in the Kitsat flight mode documentation, and this is what the list looks like at the moment. But if there are commands that you would like us to add to support your mission, feel free to send us a message at support@kitsat.fi, and we will be happy to add features to support your Kitsat missions. Okay, so let's take a look at the flight script in action. So turning on the flight script is very easy. Now we have the satellite on and the ground station connected, and we will send a command called flight mode and 1. So that turns the flight mode on. And now immediately we started to receive the beacons. So this is the first beacon, and in just a couple of seconds we will receive the second one, because it's at the moment by default of course coming every 5 seconds. And sure enough, there it is. And let's see how modifying it could look like. So let's just write here flight script edit, for example beacon 1000. And sure enough, now we start to receive the beacon every second instead of every 5 seconds. And always we can revert back to the default flight script by sending a command flight script reset. And we get a confirmation flight mode settings reset. And now it seems like we are not getting the beacons anymore every once a second, but rather every 5 seconds. Very nice. And then in the end, we can send a command flight mode 0 to turn off the flight script. Now the flight script is stored on the SD card, and it will be like, even if you reset the satellite or turn it off, when you turn it back on, it will start executing again until you send the flight mode off command. So it's very, very useful for long-term measurements or stratospheric flights or other science missions, because it can be used autonomously. So that's it. And if you have any questions, you can always ask from support@kitsat.fi, and have fun experimenting.